Hello, today we are going to look at writing a quadratic function from its zeros. So all the way up to this point we have been looking for the zeros. We've used quadratic formula, we've used square roots, we've used the zero product property, we've used factoring, we've used all of these ways to find the zeros. Now what happens when you're given the zeros and you're asked to work backwards? Well, that's what we're going to do today. We can use reverse factoring, which is basically distributive property, to find out what the original equation was. So here I've given you an example of how this works. Given the solutions, or roots, or x-intercepts, or factors, are 3 and -4, set each solution equal to x. So x equals 3, that means that's where the quadratic was crossing the x-axis, and x is equal to -4. It crossed there as well. So what we do is we make each equation equal to 0. How do we do that? Well, we need to get the 3, in this case, or the number on the same side as the x, so I subtracted 3 from both sides, and I got x minus 3 is equal to 0. I did the same over here, except I added 4 to both sides, and I got x plus 4 is equal to 0. Now I have my factors. X minus 3, x plus 4. I go ahead and multiply them using distributive property or FOIL, whichever you know. And I ended up with x times x is x squared, x times 4 is 4x, negative 3 times x is negative 3x, and negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. Combined like terms in the middle, and I ended up with my solution x squared plus x minus 12. So basically that's all we're going to do. So we have here x is equal to 7 and x is equal to -9. Well, I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides of the equation here, and I get x minus 7 equals 0. And here I'm going to add 9 to both sides of the equation, and I get x plus 9 equals 0, right? So now I can take my factors, which are x minus 7 and x plus 9, and I can set them equal to 0. I'm going to set this one equal to 0 as well, so it just looks the same. So we've got x times x, which is x squared, x times positive 9, which is 9x, negative 7 times x, which is negative 7x, negative 7 times 9, which is negative 63. We're going to set that equal to 0. Here we're going to combine like terms, and we end up with x squared plus 2x minus 63 is equal to 0. So that's our original equation. Let's do the next one. We've got x equals negative 7 and x equals negative 6. Well, let's just add 7 to both sides of the equation to get this factor. So that would be x plus 7. And here we're going to add 6 to both sides of the equation, and we get x plus 6 equals 0. Well, now we're just going to use distributive property to find out what the original equation was. X times x is x squared. X times positive 6 is positive 6x. 7 times x is positive 7x. And positive 7 times 6 is positive 42. So again, we're going to combine like terms in the middle. We got x squared plus 13x plus 42 equals 0. Got to set that equals 0. All right, the next one, we've got x equals negative 1 and x equals positive 6. Well, I'm going to add 1 to both sides of the equation here. So I've got x plus 1 equals 0. And here I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides of the equation. So x minus 6 equals 0. I'm now going to take both factors, and I'm going to multiply them. X times x is x squared. X times negative 6 is negative 6x. 1 times x is positive x. 1 times negative 6 is negative 6. Combine like terms, so x squared minus 5x minus 6 equals 0. That is our original equation. All right, you go ahead and try your turn. All right, here are the answers to the your turn. Go ahead and start on your IXL and push it to 100. Talk to you later. Bye.